All right, we're joined by Erik Henneman. Man, how's it been in quarantine? Obviously, very interesting times right now. It's trying times, and with you trying to, get ready for the NFL draft for your next step in your career, it's got to be crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy times right now, but always, trying to make the best of our times and make the most of all of the downtime. So it could be, I've been telling a lot of people, it could be a blessing in disguise. So that's kind of how I've been going about it.
So how's it been for you, still with the school, obviously changing from, being in person to online classes to being at home now? How's it been changing for you guys as students?
Well, for me, finishing my master's, I have been having most of my classes online, so it hasn't been that different for me. But for a lot of my classmates and teammates who aren't that used to having online classes, this can be a hard time for them and trying to just really by staying consistent. Like for those classes in class, you have to show up. But every day, no one's telling you open your computer and open up Canvas to check on your assignments or whatnot. So some people can take advantage of this because in online classes, sometimes you can get ahead in your in your curriculum and finish stuff in like 2 weeks versus waiting to the last second. So just depending on what type of student you are, it could help you out, but it can be difficult too.
It's like another level of responsibility because you sit there and now you don't have teachers saying, hey, get out your book, get out your computer. Now you have to go do it all yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me about how it's been for preparation. Obviously, with this being, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a setback, but you mentioned before we got on the call, about gyms being closed and you kind of having to change on the fly of your preparation, getting ready for the NFL. Just tell me how that's been. What have you been doing to kind of stay in shape?
Yeah. So since January, since I came back out here in St. Louis, I had been combine prepping. I was going to the elite training facility, and I was also using Athletic Republic. So we were getting in some great work there. Probably for about 12 weeks straight, almost. So we were ready to roll with the pro day coming up. I was just getting ready to leave that weekend for our pro day Wednesday. So it's been a little difficult, but thankfully I have some good resources and some good trainers who are willingly, always there to help me. So instead of going to the facility, we can meet, one-on-one on the field or, versus, things like that. So it's been a little difficult, but thankfully I have some good people in my corner that I'm able to stay consistent and to keep on and to keep training every day.
Now, when was your pro day originally set for?
It was supposed to be March 18th.
Okay.
Supposed to be March 18th, which was a Wednesday. But yeah, so I'm talked to my agents, and a lot of people are saying that it's kind of canceled, not really postponed. Like so some teams will rely heavily, more so on film, versus to the combine prepping.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's one of those situations, too, where they're still continuing the draft as far as I saw. They're just not having anybody there. So, yeah, I mean, obviously not having your pro day is a step that you obviously wanted to have to give some people the opportunity to see you again and see you live. So what has that conversation been with the teams that you've talked to in regards to that?
Well, I haven't really talked to anyone in regards to that. I just spoke with my agent last night, and he thought that it may be a good idea for me to do one of these mock combines to try to get that film to the teams. But I've just been recently asked to put together a highlight reel from this season that I'm pretty sure that a lot of teams are going to want to take a look at. So I'm just going by whatever they kind of refer me to do, tell me to do in that regards to the combine.
I've seen your highlights. I think you'll be all right, man. I think you'll be all right. You got some good stuff over there. I got lucky enough to watch it for 2 years.
Right. I would like to be, judged as a football player and judged off my film more so than just me running a 40-yard dash. Me, filming myself jumping a vertical. Some of those things translate to the field, and I understand. But for the most part, I'm a football player. Judge my film.
So how's the interview process been? You don't have to exactly say what teams you've been talking to, but more often, what are the questions you've been getting? What's the hardest things that you've been asked, and how have you reacted to, in this interview process with these different teams?
Yes, sir. So a lot of that stuff went on during the season.
Mm.
As of lately, I haven't really been talking to any teams. I guess they kind of just go through my agent, and then the scouts kind of talk to the agent, and then they kind of relay that information to me. So, but during the season, all the conversations went pretty well. I talked to about 7 or 8 teams that came in to see me, and kind of just sat down. Everyone is really interested in my story, so I kind of give a little background on that and let them know where I've been, coming from the struggle, and just showing how much dedication that I've shown to get where I am. And then we speak towards what type of player I would be in their system, and it would be more so of a hybrid tight end, a dynamic tight end that can split out, that can play in the backfield, that can go one-on-one, catch some fade ball, stretch the field, and things like that. So those are mainly the things that they talk about. I don't really have any hard questions that they've asked me for real. Probably just how do I prepare throughout the week, or what am I looking for whenever I study film. But I'm pretty sure if I get some calls from a team or something like that, I have heard that they do ask some pretty crazy questions. So
yeah. And that's why I was intrigued. I know you wouldn't say who asked them, but I mean, it'd be interesting because I've heard crazy scenarios that they say. I don't even know if you're in a boat in the middle of the ocean. What do you do in this and this? And it's pretty wild stuff. You talk about your story. I know you've been on the coach's show before. I was able to talk to you and interview you about where you started, obviously being from New Orleans and growing up, and the different places you've been able to play ball. I guess for people out there that don't know, give kind of a recap of what you told me, a few months ago about where you started, where you've been in your career, and how you got to this point.
Oh, yes, sir. So after high school, I wasn't very fortunate to receive any full scholarship offers. I had a preferred walk-on to Southern Miss. I didn't end up taking that. I wasn't too sure of what a walk-on was at that time. I ended up taking a year and a half off of football, where I kind of just worked. I was working on an oil refinery in Belle Chase, Louisiana, just trying to save up some money so I can try to move to California. My goal was really just to get out of New Orleans. I heard about a junior college out there in Santa Monica. So here in Santa Monica from New Orleans, I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it. So I made that sacrifice, stayed down for enough time to save up enough money to move to California. Then my football collegiate career started again. I started at Santa Monica College, played there a year, then transferred to El Camino College along with my coaching staff. Did pretty well there. Then I received a scholarship to Lindenwood, thankfully. I had to sit out my first year due to some academic issues coming in. Nothing really on my part, just a misunderstanding somewhere along in the classes. But like I said, everything can be a blessing in disguise,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped worked out for me in the most beneficial way possible. Sometimes things take longer, but it takes longer for a reason. So then my first year playing All-American at Lindenwood, my first year playing, we didn't do that well. My goal next year was to come in and try to bring a winning football season back to Lindenwood, which I did, and also went back-to-back All-American as well. And then I've just been prepping since January, trying to finally make my goals come true.
It's an awesome journey, man, and it's been awesome to see you play the last 2 years and be at this point in your career. I interviewed you after your junior year when you first got All-American at Lindenwood, and you mentioned right away, you said, I'm humble. You're a humble guy. Like you will never brag about yourself, so I can brag for you, but this guy on the field has some of the best hands you'll see out there. Any team that picks him up will be happy to have him. But he's one of those guys that can know you're a team player. You've always been able to push your teammates. You've always been able to be about the team first, and we know your ability. So it was awesome to see you play and then interview you and talk to you and see how humble you really are.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I can't take all the glory. At the end of the day, I give all the glory to God and just be thankful because I know along this path, it could have ended up bad.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that I'm here, have the opportunity. So I have nothing good thing to say.
Well, and then also, you get a chance to possibly play at the next level, and even through, you've been through stuff going on in your career, changing different places, leaving New Orleans, going to California, then coming to Missouri. You've been all over the place. Now you fight this situation where, again, you you can't do your pro day because of coronavirus, another thing you cannot control, and you just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, you got to. You just take the punches on the chin and just keep rolling with it. It's all about determination, and I'm just very optimistic in things to come. My faith is very strong. So I would like to make the most of this situation instead of being down on it or making an excuse about the coronavirus stopping me from getting to the NFL or something like that. I've come way too far. Been through way too much to let something like this stop me. So I'm just ready for it to be over with and ready to see where the next chapter takes me.
Here with Erik Henneman on In Depth with Lindenwood Athletics podcast. Erik, kind of tell me about your days at Lindenwood. Obviously, anybody out there that has seen the team and seen you play, they know what you've done and what you're capable of. I want to know on your side of it, what's been your favorite part about being a Lion? You mentioned the playoff appearance last year, you guys getting that first-round win against Ouachita, two-time All-American, so many great things to go back to, but what are some things that stick out to you?
It would definitely have to be this past season. Finally, I've been in Lindenwood for 3 years, so we went 4-7, and then to finally win, that was my main goal, to come here and to shift the culture and to shape the culture into what it is today. So that was my main priority, and I feel like me and my team as a whole, we accomplished that. So that's what I would have to say is the best thing for me, but also it's just the brotherhood and the camaraderie that I built here. One thing I felt here about at Lindenwood, that I never felt any judgment from anyone. I came in here, being myself. I was unapologetically myself, and they never judged me for that. Never, looked at me a different way. So that's one thing that I can say that I appreciate about Lindenwood, and just all of my time, my entire time here was really great. Like I said, when I was going through the recruiting process, I was a little older, so I had a chance to scale back and to really decide where do I want to spend my next 3 years. And I chose St. Charles, Missouri, because I feel like it was a fitting environment for what I wanted to do. I'm from New Orleans. I just lived in LA for the previous 3 years, so I wanted something to kind of like more of a slow pace, so I could really focus on what I wanted to do. And being here has allowed me to do it. I just keep following the path that God has set me on, and I don't think He'll steer me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, you've been about the team since day one, since I've been able to follow you as well. I go back to Northwest Missouri State, obviously a tough game to end your guys' season last year in the playoffs. But you said something interesting in the post-game press conference, and I don't know if you remember this, but you said the one thing that you want out of this is for Lindenwood to get respect behind their name. You're very adamant about that, about how hard you guys worked, how hard the coaching staff, Judge Stugart's staff, has done to build this up to this point, and how from here on there should be respect behind that name.
Yes, sir. It's what we do it for. I do it to try to leave Lindenwood's name, in high regards. I want to represent my team well. I want to represent, the city well, my name well. So, every time we go out, we should have something to prove. People may hear Lindenwood, like, who is Lindenwood? Where is Lindenwood from? Well, come play us, and that's what we plan to show you. So a lot of teams, may have taken us lightly this year. We beat 3 or 4 ranked opponents. So it just meant a lot to try to go out, the best way that we can. And I just think after this season now, going into next season, my team will be ranked, Lindenwood will be ranked in the first time since I don't know how long. So, that's a great feeling.
And then you look into it, like you said, I was going to ask you about the future of the team. I mean, you lose some people on defense like Darius. But you bring back Cade, you bring back a lot of that receiving core, bring back Nash, so that offense is set. A lot of the defense is back. Drew Sears, an All-American, a linebacker. I mean, there's a lot of high hopes for this team coming up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I see Lindenwood running the GLVC from here on out. I really do. At the end of the day, height means nothing. At the end of the day, y'all can be ranked. We may not be ranked, but you have to come play us. So when you come to the Wood, you know what to expect now.
Well, Erik, appreciate your time, man. Before we let you go, what are some things you're doing in quarantine? Obviously, it's not just preparing for the draft and everything, but you got to keep yourself entertained. You got to get classes done. But what have you been doing? You've been playing a little Madden or anything like that?
No, yeah, like I said, aside from really focusing on his masters, these last two classes are kind of getting to me. So I've really been honing in on that. And I'm not a big game player, so I don't even own a system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but now in this time, I thought about like, wow, I would like to have a game now. Okay, I'm gonna hold on. I made some quarantine goals right here that I look up to every day, and just been reading some books, reading The Alchemist right here. I already read that once, finishing that up. So kind of just reading, staying busy, stretching, doing some in the house workouts. Maybe take a jog to the park here and there. So yeah, I keep myself busy. The word bored has never been in my vocabulary, so I usually keep myself occupied.
So you're prepared for this anyway. Well, if you are going to go buy a game system, I recommend Xbox. That's I'm an Xbox guy. I know there's a big rivalry between Xbox and PlayStation. So
that's tough. That's tough.
Erik, thank you so much, man. Congratulations on your success. We look forward to seeing you in the NFL very soon, and stay safe and healthy, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. You too.